case, I'll start that.
You know, I've always wondered what people do with their time if they don't like go out to bars. And, I realize they do constructive stuff like this.
Is this constructive though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel it's,
Well, it would be different if I had a fucking podcast about educational stuff, or maybe, like some people have like history podcasts where they go into whatever.
Yeah.
Mine's just like poop joke, the podcast. Yeah. People know you on the channel. Okay. So this is my brother, the guest star of failed hiking Appalachian video number 1. And the long-awaited sequel, failed hiking Appalachian video number 2. Yeah. Shorter but sweeter. So we did the failed hiking trip, and then we came back, and I think on that hiking trip, it might not have been on that hiking trip, but I had my daughter, right?
Yeah.
And Zach, let's face it, you've always been more of a father type person than me. I'm not exactly a father type guy, but you've always been good with kids. You seem to like kids.
That's kind of recent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Biological
I used
clock
to hate
is
them.
ticking.
Yeah.
And I made fun of you. I was like, dude, if you're gonna have kids, you better fucking do it, because you're like 5 years older than me.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, by the time you're 18,
the kid's 18.
By the time the kid's 18, you're gonna be like 60. You're gonna want to be raising kids.
Yeah. No, I'm screwed. The kid's not gonna get ball thrown with dad because dad's fucking nursing
geriatric.
Yeah.
And mysteriously, less than 6 months later, you had a knocked up girlfriend. You not only met a girl, but then knocked her up.
Tinder. Found a girl 7 years younger than me on Tinder, and within 4 months was like, so how about we pull that IUD out and let's see what happens.
Let's just see what happens.
And 2 weeks after that, she walked into the living room with a pregnancy test going, yo. And yeah.
You know what was funny about that is I was talking to Mom, like, when you guys let's face it,
I was wondering because like
you like told everybody. Zach kind of got his feelings hurt, right? So we have very Southern Baptist.
I didn't get my feelings hurt. Christina got her feelings hurt.
We have very Southern Baptist family, right? And he comes to this family dinner and is just like, guys, we have an announcement. Me and this girl you've met one time having a baby. And like,
everybody looked.
Like, in the matriarch of the family, my grandma is just like,
so you won't believe who I saw at church the other day. And then just everybody glossed over it.
Yeah, glossed over it. But like on the inside, you could tell she was like, what the fuck? And you like totally. Yeah, so anyways, I was talking to Mom and she's
got her back on that and named it after her husband. So.
Yeah. Well, I was talking to Mom and she's like, well, like, how did this happen? Like, was it an accident? Does he not know about condoms? I taught him about condoms. I was like, no, this was intentional. Like, and she was like, oh, that makes me feel so much better. And she was like, but why the fuck was it intentional? It's only been dating for like 6 months. I was like, dude, the guy wanted a fucking kid. He got a kid. He did it.
Yeah.
You know,
I wanted it. I went out there and I took it. I took a girl's youth and got the child I wanted.
Man, hey, you know what? You got to chase those dreams and grab.
And I got it right the first time. I had a boy, so I didn't have to abort and then try again.
Yeah. A lot of people want boys only.
Yeah.
For some reason, I was perfectly happy.
I don't want to deal with
girl.
feelings.
Oh, is that what?
Yeah.
It is?
If the kid's fucking off, I can always smack him in the back of the head, tell him to quit.
You know, I've thought about this with the boys. You have to deal with like physical things in your house getting broken. Boys have the issue of like they shit in their diaper and then they like reach in there and paint the walls with it. Yeah. Girls don't do that. They're very prissy, but they do have like
a girl can psychologically wreck me though.
And not only that, but I was thinking about this.
They're petty.
They're petty. They're let's face it, less than us. No, I'm kidding. No, it's not that. No, I was gonna say there, you know how like there's been this big revolution of not a big revolution, but women are really trying to get to men and tell us like, you don't understand what it's like being a woman day to day.
Yeah.
And because they just have to worry. Like, we went out on the Appalachian Trail, just what some people might call, we were trying to look like we were hiking.
Right.
But to be honest, it was kind of like we were desperately lurching forward, looking for a bed, hoping for the end.
Yeah.
Normal people would call that hiking. But doing that as a woman is terrifying, because we were out there just concerned about the weather, but a woman is out there like, oh, the weather's horrible. I have to worry about twisting my ankle, and then I also have to worry about getting raped to death. That's also a concern. It's like in the back of their head at all times. And I always thought they were exaggerating. And then Abby hid my fleshlight. Right? Because she was pissed off because I was always whacking off with it. And so she hid it, right? And so I've been like, what the fuck? I'm not going back to the Stone Age doing it with my fucking hand.
The old fashioned.
Manually masturbating like a fucking caveman. And so I haven't been doing it, right? And then, because I never understood like the woman's plight, right? Because I'm docile and masturbated.
Yeah.
I have the post-nut clarity.
Yeah.
And, but then all of a sudden, the caveman starts coming back in me. Like, once I haven't been whacking off for like a week, and like I just realized, like, I was looking at some hot chick at like the gas station. I was like, dude,
I could take that.
She's like 150 pounds, maybe, thick as shit. I could stuff her in my trunk. There's plenty of room. No, it wasn't that. I was just sitting there like. You ever seen like Family Guy, right? People shit on Family Guy all the time because of like poor writing and stuff, and it's like tasteless jokes. But there was one where like Brian sees a hot chick and it just goes, "Hey Stewie, check it out, straight ahead, biracial slam piece." And he's talking about this fucking chick, and Stewie just goes, "Brian, she's a human being." And I was like, that's exactly what I was going through. Like, I would just look at another human, just go, look at that fucking slam piece. I'm like, do I really need that fleshlight back? I've just dehumanized this person. Just like, look at that hole.
Yeah.
And like, now that I have a daughter, I realize like there's people that are going to be doing that to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see the other side of the coin.
Yeah, you definitely do. So I've realized like the only sensible thing I could do, like, I have two paths. One is I could change my entire worldview and become a more considerate person, or put her out of her misery and try again. Get that boy, you have that sunlight. No, I'm kidding. I think I'll just go for the more considerate person type thing.
Yeah.
Or just get another fucking fleshlight.
Yeah.
Those things have an expiration date. I just realized, like,
Really?
I would hope. Because I was, when you use something every day, you don't realize how worn out it gets. I've had this thing for like 5 years. I went and looked at it, like the fucking pussy's all stretched out. It's like fucking stretch marks around it. It's like, I should probably buy a new one. This thing's fucking. She didn't hide it. I bet you she's chucked it. She probably just threw that shit away. She opened it and was like, ugh. Jesus Christ.
Looks like downtown Baghdad. And I'm like, yeah,
this is what a pussy looks like when it doesn't have cellular regeneration. Jesus Christ. I should probably get a new one. So, all right. So Zach has a kid, right? And we get to the hospital, and he doesn't matter what this little fucking shit does. He's crying. Zach cries at birth. He cried when the kid got a hearing test.
This last month has been the most emotional month I've ever had.
Yeah, and it's like I guess what is it called? Sincerity. You're a very sincere person.
Yeah,
right?
I cried like a baby for 2 hours after he was born, and I feel bad for Christina because I never let her hold him. Right? Yeah, like, and she's sitting there like gutted, and she's like, and I'm like, he's doing great. Like, you'll see him when we get home,
I came over to do like their first 48-hour pictures, I figured I'd have them as my test run on how to do portraits. I don't know how to do portraits. And so I'm there to do an amateur cataloging of their life. and I come in and Zach's in the corner holding the fucking baby. Won't let Christina touch it. No, but baby gets like a hearing test done, And Zach is just welling up with tears, so proud over his son passing a hearing test.
They were like, he passed. And Christina looked over at me, and I'm crying. I'm looking, I'm so proud of you, buddy. And,
good job.
Yeah, good job, buddy. And, the hearing specialist printed off a second certificate so that I could frame it.
You could frame it?
Yeah. It was his first, it was his first trophy. And it wasn't a participation trophy. He actually earned that.
Yeah.
So.
By having a basic human function.
Yeah. It's going in the trophy room.
On the mantelpiece.
Yeah.
Yeah. My son has ears. Well, Abby was pissed off because she was like, she said it in the hospital. She's like, Sam didn't fucking cry. Sam didn't fucking, he hasn't, she's like, I've known him for fucking, she's known me since 7th grade. She's like, I've never seen him cry once. And last time I cried was when Dad broke my fucking arm on Father's Day. Which I love telling that story because it sounds horrible when you just say it. But it was kind of like I broke my own arm with his assistance.
I forgot about that. What's the story with that again?
We were wrestling or something, and he like grabbed.
How old were you?
I don't know. I was young. It was so young that I had like cartilage in my elbow still. It wasn't like bone. It wasn't bone on bone yet, which is why it wasn't that bad of a break. But what it was is he grabbed my arm. We were wrestling. He grabbed my arm, and then I put both of my feet to his chest and went like, and like pushed off, and it just fucked up my arm. And then we went to the hospital, and I was like, they were like, what happened? I was like, my dad broke my fucking arm. And everybody was just like looking at him like, what the, you monster, broke this little boy's arm. Because, kids are never evil. Yeah. And then you realize that once you're a parent, that kids are fucking evil. Yeah. There's some kids that are just shitty. But what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So Abby was sitting there complaining about me not ever crying with, like, Madeline. And then I think I realized what it is. Yeah. See, for you, this is the first thing you've ever made. Yeah. That's become something. Yeah. But as a gamer,
it was just another day at the office.
I've had many beautiful creations in other worlds, and I've become so dullened by their deaths over and over again that this is just another playthrough to me, baby. We'll see how it works out. Yeah. If I have to bury it early, I'll just start over. New game. No, yeah, it's horrible. If Abby started listening to this podcast, did I tell you that?
No,
I was
me and Christina talked about that, and I was like, Abby doesn't listen to him.
She hates everything I do. Yeah. She hates just talking to me normally. Why would she listen to a recorded version of me?
Who in their right mind wants to come home and be like, let me see what you did all day. It's just you shitting on somebody. Like,
yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I love him. He's the one.
Well,
wasted all my high school years on this one right here.
Yep. Yeah. She thought she could mold me and change me into something, and she failed miserably. With her, what's funny is when we started dating, we were so young that we were like not people yet. Right. Yeah. And then thankfully as you get older, you turn into a couple different people while you're still finding yourself. Yeah. We ended up with the end result is we still get along. Yeah. Yeah.
Y'all do well.
Yeah. Yeah. Considering if you just get rid of her seething hatred of me, we get along pretty well. That seething silent contempt that she hides under the surface. She doesn't hide it that well, to be honest. Yeah. She just kind of sits there. Fucking look on her face all the time. But, could you live with me?
No.
No.
That's why I moved out. Yeah. Like, as soon as I turned 18,
fuck that.
Honestly, you had moved out before then because you had pretty much walled off your bedroom. You had a doorbell.
I did. I had a wire. It was right when Bluetooth came out. I had a wireless doorbell. I put it on my fucking door.
In the hallway. Yeah.
No, dude, I've always been like a paranoid guy about security, and I was like, man, I wonder if that's like genetic or something. And then I remember, no, you made me this way. I used to wake up with you scrounging through my fucking change drawer. Right,
I need dip.
Yeah, you're like, I need dip.
I need dip and a natty light.
Lunch
it was
money.
Like 15.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our parents divorced when I was 14, 15. There's 5 years between us.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Sam was at a very impressionable age.
Yeah. When
all of a sudden I thought I was man of the house, and whatever I did, was law, and I was a handful, and so we basically I ran like frat parties out of the house, and Sam.
Zach, I'm not sure if you've noticed this, but just looking at us, Zach was like the popular guy in high school, and I was the didn't go to high school. I was so not popular at high school that I didn't even go. I was not a resident at the high school, and I had so much fill of like his social life that I was like, I'm checking out of this shit early. I don't fucking need this in my life. Yeah, I didn't.
It's funny you didn't want to be in my shadow, and now 15 years later, I bask in your glow. No. Oh yeah, my brother General Sam.
I was actually gonna talk about this. I was like, okay, so usually the firstborn is the one that like you, as the secondborn, you have to live up to them.
Wrong. In today's day and age, every single one of my friends, if they are a firstborn, they are the ultimate fuck ups. I just had to bury a friend that was a firstborn. Yeah. That just...
No, well, actually, there's something to be said about, I think, your quote-unquote micro-generation, right? Because before, generations were like, oh, decades.
Technically, I'm a millennial, and that kind of bothers me.
Yeah, you are. But because society's moving so fast and technology's moving so fast, I feel like generations should be shortened. Yeah. Because there's a massive difference between you and me, and there's only 5 years between us.
Yeah, I'm pre-technology.
You hit, like, social media hit when you were in high school.
No.
All I had was social media.
Yeah.
Like, from the time I was elementary school.
Yeah.
I was learning HTML to make my MySpace show off the Hoobastank album art. And the reason is you. You remember that fucking song? Dude, Hoobastank fucking slapped back in the day. I don't give a fuck what you say. But, so I'm
we had CB radios in our trucks because nobody had cell phones.
Yeah,
but we could. That's how we communicated. Was CB radio.
There was a point I was getting.
And I was white trash. I was like, "Hey, burger."
Okay, so there's like a small gap between us. But when you were getting out of high school and your generation was getting out into the world, the recession happened. Yeah, the real estate market collapsed into its asshole.
Yeah. I was doing construction at the time.
The movie The Big Short, that movie happened right when his age group was going out into the world. And then
we were halfway through college.
And all the boomers were like, why aren't you getting your fucking life together, bro? Why don't you just get a job? Yeah. The world like fell apart. Yeah. Right when I was, and so then all the employers are looking like, well, I see there's a minor gap in your employment history. It's like, well, duh, you were writing mortgages to fucking, there were strippers that had like 8 mortgages. Fucking duh. You guys fucked up the economy. And so like, there's like an entire, that little micro age group. Yeah. Serious, long-reaching ramifications.
We got left behind, dude.
Left behind. Yeah. Like, have you ever heard of like the dead generation or whatever in Japan? Like in the late 80s, their economy collapsed, and then it didn't pick back up until the 2000s. So like,
those 90s, people are like too old to have gotten good jobs. Yeah. And so
there's just everybody that was like coming of age in the 90s. They just kind of sat there for 10 years,
just waiting,
just doing nothing. Like, and I feel like that happened, with you. But what's funny is you full on embraced it. Let's admit you were trying your damnedest to be the black sheep. You got the tattoos. He's got like the goat head thing on his fucking knee.
The Baphomet.
Yeah. He's got it all. Trying to be on the fringe of society as much as possible. but
still employable.
But you never thought I would be the black sheep, because mom can go and talk to her friends and be like, oh, my son does, I don't want to like dox you or anything, and I don't want people to be able to track me. My son does blank blank, and she's proud of your job and everything, but she can't talk about mine. Because they start asking questions. And you can tell mom's fucking weirded out about me. You were in that group text, and I was like telling her shit and sending her pictures, and she's like, what the fuck is wrong with this kid? And when we were kids, I was the good one, and you were the rebellious one, and now I feel like it's the lines have crossed, and I'm like, you're getting more responsible and more like a normie as age goes on, and I'm warping. Yeah. I'm warping. And so ultimately, I'm the tattoo-less black sheep of this family. I feel like it's going that way. And I'm happy to embrace it. I'm happy to embrace it. Did you see those pictures I sent her?
Who?
In the group text? It was
Mom?
like 2 days ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The backstory to that is there's I moved into this neighborhood, right? This pretty urban area. And it's like
it makes it sound like you live in the bad part of town. Sam
urban.
Lives in suburbia.
Yeah, suburbia. That's what I meant. Yeah, suburbs, not urban. The suburbs. Yeah,
not. And you can go buy a crack rock down the road.
That's where I used to live.
Yeah, that's where I thrive. I can't go outside my house without $10 to buy a mixtape from my neighbor across the street.
Dude, those mixtapes half the time they're fucking empty. That pisses me off. It's like, dude, if I'm gonna buy your shitty mixtape, at least have some shitty music on it. That's what I want. They'll like sell you a mixtape, it'll be empty. I'm like, what the fuck? Hey,
best con I've ever seen was one of my coworkers. Yeah, this is when iPads first came out, and a guy showed up, and like I worked at a business that was in a very bad part of town, and guy shows up, and he had iPads for sale. Like stupid cheap. Yeah. And I had this hood rat guy working with me, and he was like, I'll buy 3, because he had like 3 kids, and we were like 22 years old. Yeah. Right. And handed the guy the money. The guy gave him the boxes. He drives off, and Josh opened them up, and they were pieces of ceramic tile that had been cut and put in the boxes. And I remember as soon as he opened the box, I was like, "Oh no, like, this is bad."
How pissed was he?
Dude, that guy lost his shit. He'd throw down like a week's worth of pay on those. He was like, "Oh,
Last Christmas, I saw, or maybe the Christmas before that, it was when drones were really big and they were first coming out.
Yeah, when her dad was buying them all the time.
Yeah, and
you remember we traded. We traded Christmas presents because you were tired of helping me get my drone out of a tree, and you were like, "This is a nice flashlight."
He went all the way. He like got a drone and then was like on the test flight. He didn't sit there and go ooh, like hover it in front of him until he learned the controls. He was just like, "Hey, let's."
I got it up in the Gulf Stream.
He was like, "Let's see if this thing goes up to the fucking stratosphere," and he just went up and got it lodged up in like the canopy of a live oak tree, and then was like trying to get me to create some sort of hook thing with my drone.
I sat there for 2 days with a string and a carabiner trying to rope that thing out.
And yeah, I was just like, just take mine. Just take mine so I can go home.
Did you hear what happened with that second one?
I'm assuming you flew it straight up again.
The very next day, this is when I was living out in Apalachicola National Forest.
Yeah.
I go outside, middle of nowhere. I put it down in the middle of my dirt road. I got my 2 dogs with me, and I just go, and I lost sight of it. It just went, and I was like, fuck.
No clouds in the sky, it's just blue.
And I sat there, and I looked back I looked down at the dogs. The dogs are looking at me like, you dumbass. And I just
closed the antenna.
45 seconds. I was out there for 45 seconds. And I went inside. I was like, all right.
That's it? It just flew up and lost it?
Yeah, I lost it. That was it. I never saw it come back down. I'm like,
it doesn't come back down on its own, Zach. You are the controller.
No, eventually you're going to get out of range.
It's not a boomerang. It doesn't like, I'm out of range. Go back to home.
No,
not like a Roomba.
No, but as high up as I had it, I mean, home's relative. Home is Earth.
I'm out of range.
I never even saw it fall.
Oh, okay.
Like, yeah, it was
You were thinking
gone.
like a satellite, like it'll like slowly descend back. Okay.
No, even fall. Like I did not see shit, and I'm like, well, that was it. I'm 0-2.
Sputnik 2 is up there now.
In 3 days.
Well, during Christmas, like a couple years ago, there was this guy that you could tell worked construction, and we were leaving Target, and he got out of his car and was like frantically running to the front of Target, and he goes, and he like stopped us, and he's just like, have you guys seen any drones around here? I was like, up in the sky? He's like, no, like boxes of drones. 3 of them. And I was like, no. He's like, God, fuck, damn it. Apparently he bought them for his kids and put them on the bottom part of the of the shopping cart and unloaded his whole shopping cart and forgot them on the bottom side. And they were each like $200 a piece. And he just said, and you know, he's a construction guy. That probably cleaned his ass out.
You say that those motherfuckers make bank.
They make bank, but if you're in construction, usually you're pretty old-fashioned. So you know his fucking wife doesn't work. She's still trying to play that 1950s game. Yeah. Listen here, it's 2019, ladies. Get your asses to work. This ain't fucking I Love Lucy. Dumbass bitch. It's our turn, man. You go out there and be the best. Climb that corporate ladder. Be a millionaire. So we can be stay-at-home dads.
You know, my girl was swearing up and down she wasn't going to work, and I was scared.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you know, and
she needs to embrace women's rights.
She's going back.
Yeah, go back. Be ambitious.
Yeah.
I've been telling Abby, you know, if you want to invent like a electric car or something, go for it. I ain't holding you back. Whatever you want to do. You ever seen Scrooge McDuck diving through the gold coins?
Yes.
That's a dream of mine. And I feel like but I don't want to earn the coins. Like I feel like the dive is
other people's coins.
Yeah. The dive is much more pleasurable when it's not your money that you worked for. If it's your blood and the hard work and sweat on those coins, not nearly as fun to dive through. No. Because I've seen on Instagram like those trophy wives, man, they have a fun time spending all that fucking money. But the guys that earn the money are in the back of their head, they're sweating a little bit.
Yeah.
when they're doing paragliding and shit, they're like, man, this shit's costing $1,500. I better have a good fucking time. But the wives are carefree and like, woo! I don't know what this fucking costs because I didn't work for it. I don't fucking care. I think about like going on a vacation or something like that.
That's the thing now is like, and it really pisses me off, but whenever I take time off now, I'm like, not only am I spending money, but I'm not making money right now.
Failing to make money.
Like I got vacation time.
Yeah.
But I work off of kind of a commission based job. Yeah. So it's like, what are they doing at work? Like, are they making me money? And I'm like, so yeah, I hate that. I've become where I don't like taking time off.
Yeah, and I feel the exact same way. And
you're 100% commission, huh?
Yeah,
yeah, buddy.
If I stop working, and the thing is, like, I have to be on the ball,
Yeah.
Because I've realized sometimes you get into like these not depressive slumps, but like you realize like a couple months ago you were a little bit more chipper.
You have an off day,
yeah. But you ever have like an off month?
Yeah.
And I'll look.
This month is an off month for me.
I'll look back through my cat. Wow, suspiciously, I think your kid's about a month old. Depression starts the second he came out.
God, man.
The second he walked out of the womb and starts stomping all over your dreams and aspirations. I was
fitting that he came out of the womb and he was just spraying piss everywhere, and we were like, I remember I was like, I don't want to hold that.
Really?
First thought out of my head, I was like,
wait, did you cut the umbilical cord?
It was wrapped around his neck and it was broke.
Oh.
When they cut her open.
That's how Stallone was born.
That's good. I'll tell him that
Yeah.
when he's older. I want you to know.
Well, that's why Stallone has like the slumped palsy face.
Thanks. I hope Christina doesn't listen to this podcast.
Well, no, I mean, like, you can tell, like, they could tell immediately. They're like, something's fucked up with Stallone's face. Like, when he was Henry doesn't have that going on.
All right.
Yeah. His name's Henry, by the way. I already fucked that up.
Whatever.
Yeah. And
you don't want to take his identity. That's
fine.
with me.
Yeah. Have you ever seen those stories on Reddit of like people, they like turn 18, they're trying to build their credit, and they realize their parents have pulled out several large lines of credit in their name?
I always like to keep Christina on her toes because I'm what's called a hobosexual. I sleep around for housing. And so as soon as we got his social security card, I go, what do you think his credit limit is? Christina was like, you can't open a credit line in his name. I'm like, yeah, I can. I have a social.
I've always thought like people, I always see the negative side of that. Right, where like people open up big lines of credit in their kid's name and then just tank it, right? Because who would do that unless they're just evil?
I have friends that had that happen to them.
Really?
Yeah.
I was thinking like, what if I do the opposite? Like open up a line of credit and like nurture it so like my kid turns 18 and can buy a fucking house, you know? But then I think
he didn't work for it.
Yeah, I think.
So then they'll just tank it themselves.
Yeah, I think.
I got a buddy in high school that happened to, and he had to wound up. He filed bankruptcy before we were 21.
I was about to say, like, I think building credit is it's something that there's a reason they start you off really low because they know you're gonna fuck up. Yeah. It's something you should fuck up on because then you realize you're like, dude, I bought that $400 whatever, you know, that $400 meal. Yeah. Something that's gone in an instant. Yeah. And you're like, and now I'm paying fucking like $58 a month extra to pay this fucking thing. It ended up being a $700 meal. This fucking sucks. And then because they start like every 6 months they start extending that credit limit. Yeah. And now I could really fuck up. I could do like a fucking $15,000 fuck up in one afternoon if I wanted. Yeah. And have you ever seen people like buy cars with credit cards? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. So
it's like a 20% interest rate.
I pretty much have not had a car in 10 years.
Yeah.
Right? Just a motorcycle.
Yeah.
And you can't carry a baby on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
So I got to get a car.
Someone hasn't seen Raising Arizona. Someone's not a cinephile.
And so I'm on the hunt for a car with air conditioning that, you know, my baby could survive in if, you know, got in a wreck.
Yeah.
And with nothing, like, I don't have a car to trade in. Yeah. Right? Or anything. So it's like I've just been scrounging up every penny I have for a down payment.
I'm looking at getting a new car too.
Yeah, you had mentioned that.
Yeah. Because
to carry two kids, I assume.
Well, have you seen how I have a 2005 Honda Element? Let's be honest, I'm not one of those like people act like once you get over like 5,000 YouTube subs, you're like,
oh yeah,
put down the lease on the Lambo. But because of the content I make, there's different ad brackets on YouTube, right?
You're at that low.
I am the lowest possible ad bracket.
Really?
I am at the very bottom.
What is the top?
The top is like
makeup tutorials,
kids unboxing videos.
Those creep me out.
They creep me out too, but dude, they get like
makes me wonder what kind of youth we're like.
They'll get like $15 CPM. Like for every 1,000 views, they get like $15.
Clicks per.
I don't know what it fucking means, but it's they'll get like $10-15 per 1,000 views. I have like $1 CPM.
Really?
Yeah. And so I'll see channels that I'm like, he's doing all right. Yeah, because I look at like views per month.
Yeah.
And then I realize like, damn, this motherfucker's got pretty clean content. Several times more money.
Some of that wholesome living has really paid off. Yeah.
Not me, dude. I sit there and wallow in the filth of the internet, and I love it. And it's not financially.
Well, I remember seeing an ad where they had realized that somebody that was doing unbox videos, It was some retired porn star.
Huh.
Wonder if she made more money with her hands than
with her vagina.
Yeah, vagina.
Why does that matter? Like, does it? I guess from advertiser perspective, they don't want to be seen on.
Yeah.
On there. Huh.
Yeah.
That's weird.
It was a couple of years ago.
Yeah. There's this guy. He's not in the porn that I watch, because if it's consensual, I don't watch it. No, I'm kidding. It's you know, like that fucking bald guy that's in like every porn video.
I don't watch porn.
You don't watch it? Fucking lie to my face. Sitting in my own goddamn house lying to me. And I forget his name, but he's just like Mr. Clean. He looks like Agent 47. He's this fucking bald guy.
Okay.
He's just a nondescript, like blank slate of a human. Because every guy goes like,
he's cock with legs.
Yeah. Every guy's like, I'm mentally putting myself in the position of this guy.
Yeah.
I'm imagining that it's me with the giant that's penis.
Yeah. Okay.
The penis that doesn't go off to the side and zigzag, looking like a fucking cockroach's leg. That's what mine looks like. Mine looks like a Jacob's Ladder toy when you fucking unfold it. It's got elbows in it. But so this guy, Johnny Sins, that's his name.
Okay.
So Johnny Sins, he has a YouTube channel. I went and checked it out. Right. This guy is, for a dude that does nothing but lay pipe on bitches all day, he's such a wholesome guy. He's like the nicest guy.
I feel like they probably all are.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, man. So
because you got to find a connection somewhere, and at work
it's not there.
It's not there.
He's just chill. He's just a chill.
Like
guy.
I got a feeling after production, like after a gangbang,
yeah,
they all go out for ice cream. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've always. You ever like fantasize like different, like what if not if your life had turned out differently, but what you would do in a certain situation?
Every day, but yeah,
like what you would do in a different situation. Yeah. I've always thought about that. Like if I was in a porno, like I would be a nice guy and bring him out to, hey, you want to go out to a meal or something?
Yeah.
And then I'll
that comes from the person that's dated the same person for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not saying it would be like an enjoyable meal. The whole time we were eating, I would sit there and break down their performance and what I hated about it. By the way, I thought your blowjob was pathetic. Yeah, it was horrible.
And you really gave Joe a lot more attention than me.
You ever seen the rise of cuck pornography? You ever heard of cuck pornography?
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah.
Have you ever noticed it's always like a black guy piping this guy's girlfriend? It's like the
and the guy's always like in the chair, just like, oh my god. Like,
what really pisses me off is the guy that's in the chair slumped over always looks like me. It's always some fucking white guy with glasses. Looks like a fucking nerd, and I'm like that's not fucking me. I would be there helping him, holding his balls and everything. I'm more of a participator than that. I'm not gonna cry in the chair, I'm always there. No, but I always watch that, and like people get so angry. I'm assuming having your father as and my father as our father, yeah, as a Jewish guy. I love looking up like Jewish conspiracies. Because it's great. Like, the whole world is against these people, to be honest. Like, everybody acts like the Holocaust.
You ever seen the Family Guy thing where it flashes back to the Jews marching across the desert or something? And the one, like, before the pyramids,
Yeah.
And he's like, every great religion has their struggle. We're getting ours out of the way right at the beginning.
Smooth sailing.
Yeah.
Smooth sailing from here on.
It's all downhill, man, Yeah. It's good we're doing it now.
Yeah, it's good. Dawn of humanity. We'll be accepted from here on out, fellas. Dude, everybody shits on Family Guy. They got some good moments. They do. But there's like on all these the cuck threads whenever they're started, because some people really get off on that shit. People think they've even moved and like started anti-Semitism in the porn industry, where they're like, the Jews are behind this cuck pornography. Like, I don't know the mindset behind it, but like somehow the Jewish people are. I think what it is Jews.
Well, the only people that are into cuck porn are people so rich that they have nothing like
Nothing else excites them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they're just sitting there with their money like, what are we going to do? Let's hire a black guy to rail my wife. You know?
Well, I think what it is like the people that are saying this is a conspiracy where it's nothing but Jewish people peddling this weird cuck porn to the rest of us is that Jewish people say that you should only marry a Jewish person. Yeah. If you're Jewish, you should only marry a Jewish person. But then because they own all the media companies, they're like, but the rest of you do what you will. In fact, I'll start making pornography to convince you to have sex with all these interracial things, you know? And it's just weird that like anti-Semitism has gotten so strange. Goddamn Jews tell me how to whack off. I miss the good old days when they were just pulling the strings on the world economy. Don't you? Stay out of my masturbating, Jews. Go back to doing crazy central banking schemes. See, this is why I'm in the lowest ad bracket on YouTube. Making fun of horrible Jewish stereotypes is not a good start. All right, well, I do have a list of things to talk about. Okay, all right, fuck. Yeah. Going back, I was talking about those pictures I was sending Mom in the group text thing.
Yes.
And the reason that started was she was asking me. Okay, so way back when I first moved to this house, I'm in the heart of suburbia, right? And everybody is all happy around me and everything, and they didn't know who had moved in. Right. They didn't know the man that had moved in.
You just look like a nice, friendly, like
they're like he never
loan
leaves his
officer
house
at the local bank.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
And so when Hurricane Michael came through, I think Hurricane Michael, that's the one that really fucked up us, right?
That was the one where our uncle had a good laugh because you had always been, I don't need cash. Cash is old stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And then it hit and all the debit machines, all the debit card swipers were down and you were like, I need ice.
Yeah. No, the problem was there was no ice.
No, we got ice. No, I had to come get you.
And in the fight, it worked because you just swiped and then they ran as credit, and then they'd charge you when they got their power back.
Oh, did that happen?
Yeah, the world has moved past.
I remember it differently. I thought I had cash, and I
hey, you might have. I don't know.
Yeah,
I would just like in my mind to be right. Yeah. Anyway, so the hurricane happened, right?
Right.
And this is modern suburbia, right? So nobody fucking talks to each other. I'd never really talked to any of my neighbors. No. And then all of a sudden power goes out. No cable, no power. It's hot. Everybody has a freezer full of food that's
that you can't
melting.
Open. Yeah, you just
melting.
Let that happen.
Everybody starts barbecuing. And all of it, and people
everybody's on the front porch.
There's no TV. Like everybody like comes out like goblins like into the sun.
How you doing?
Dude, I met every fucking neighbor.
Yeah.
Every neighbor on this goddamn block I shook hands with. We were great friends. Yeah. They were like, this cool guy's been living here this whole time. I didn't even know. And I became friends. I lent my gas grill to the people next door. Yeah. And then, and I even joked with them too. I was like, this is funny because we're all great friends, but the second that power comes on, we ain't never gonna fucking talk to each other ever again.
Power goes on, everybody goes back to their holes. And you haven't talked to anybody since, have you?
No, I've been talking to some of them, but then I do have a couple stories about the falling out of our relationship with each neighbor that I came so close with during the hurricane.
I know you've been like peacocking to your one neighbor over here, right?
The guy that I gave the grill to so he could cook his food.
You bring it to a whole new level. You've been like texting that guy, haven't you?
I got his cell phone number, and he he's a cool guy, and he's young. He's I think younger than me, and I was like, dude, he's the only other young guy in the neighborhood, and he seems like a cool hip guy. Yeah. I was like, and he seems like he has a good sense of humor.
Right.
And, right off the bat, I was making fucked up jokes and stuff. He was laughing. I thought we were on the same wavelength. And so like out of the blue, I texted him just a picture of me in like this fight stance with my pants pulled up to my nipples. And I'm like, bro, outside 10 minutes right fucking now. I'm going to beat your ass in the front yard.
He never responded, did he?
Didn't respond. 2 days later, I was like, all right, this guy's a pussy. So then I sent him another picture of me in some weird ass position. with like my socks pulled up over my pants and everything. I was like, bro, right now, man dance, front yard, 10 minutes. Never responded. I kept doing it for like a week and a half. And now...
And he kept like looking out this blinds like, where's that crazy motherfucker?
And now he pulls into his driveway and uses the side door. So he can, like if he sees me in the front yard, he actively avoids me. He'll go into the side.
You're so good at fucking up a good thing.
He'll go into the side door. He won't use his front door anymore.
I bet you Scabs is like...
Oh, yeah. She's kind of pissed
She's ready to move.
She's kind of pissed about it. So then, let's see. Who else we got here? I had a bunch of them. Oh, there's a Jewish lady next door that's like, she's super old school. But
yeah, I remember I met her. I was like, how you doing? When the hurricane hit. I was like, hey, how you doing? She's like, you got my ice?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah.
She's very intense, right?
Yeah.
And she was telling me that...
Yard looks immaculate.
Yeah. Very attention to detail oriented. Yeah. And she... but she's very clean. Her, not just in the way she keeps things, but like her mentality, like very clean humor kind of person.
Oh, yeah.
And she was saying something about Jewish people can't be organ donors, so she's not organ donor. And I just immediately interrupted her. I said, that's not true. They can donate the foreskins. All right, using those. Cut it off and give it to someone else for like a skin graft or something. And she just fucking like looked away from me and like she didn't talk to us for a month after that. And Abby's like, what the fuck? She hit me the second I said it. I thought it was funny. And then the third one, these are all my closest neighbors. But this is the guy on the right side of me and the lady on the left. So, and then there's this other lady that has a family. And I not only know her, I know her husband. I know their kids. They're cool people. They're kind of young. They're like probably your age, to be honest. And but they're pretty wholesome. They're pretty wholesome people.
So but, I don't know them.
No.
Okay.
And they were down at the park. And they were down there with their friends who were... This story is going to make me out to be like this incredible racist, right? They were down there with a black family.
Okay.
And the black family was a man, woman, and two kids. Okay. Right. And I went down there with Madeline. I was going to go do the swings and stuff. And so I went down there, said hi to them, shook their hands and everything. And then I went on to do my swing thing. And then they started going back to the house. And I started I waited, a couple minutes, and then we started going back. And on my way through the playground, I noticed there was a little black baby doll on one of the benches that was left there.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, black baby doll?
Black children.
Only black family I've seen here. The kids. So I grabbed it. I was like, naturally, this is theirs.
Yeah.
So I like run up behind them. I'm like,
hey, you forgot your doll.
Hey, you forgot your doll.
That ain't mine.
And in the second they turn around, I realize... The two kids that they have are like 12-year-old boys. And I'm like, and they looked at me like I was fucking retarded. And at that moment I realized I'm like, I look like the biggest racist of all time. Hey, you forgot your darn colored doll down at the playground. You can't leave this riffraff down there at the playground. And I was like, oh, fuck. And then they haven't spoken to me since. So the three neighborhood relationships, I'm going to have to find new people to talk to. But these are my closest neighbors in the neighborhood. I've fucked it up already. God. What are your fond memories of our childhood together?
You being the youngest person by 5 years in the neighborhood, but you ran that place like you were fucking Tony Montana.
You know what's funny is
Sam had no problem. Kids were in high school and they tremble seeing Sam go. They're like, oh shit! Like,
you know what's funny is our next door neighbor Steve.
Yeah.
He I used to come home from school and I would act like I lost my key and like force my way into his house. Because he had an Xbox before we had an Xbox.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I don't have my fucking key. can I come in there and play Tenchu Z? And he was like, I guess. And I was like, I'm not fucking stupid. I can tell when I'm not wanted.
Yeah.
But Tenchu Z was on the other side of that door. By God, I was
whatever it takes, man.
Whatever it takes to get in. No, you know what I remember? Because I remember we had that Hewitt Packard PC in the sunroom.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that was back when they thought the color of technology and innovation was cream.
Yeah.
They were sitting there at all the Compaq and everywhere. They're like, what's a good color for a computer? Space age technology. Cream. Make this bitch cream. And we had that in the sunroom, which was like glass on all sides.
I miss that room.
Everybody could see you from every direction. That was the first PC we ever had.
No. Well, yes.
Yeah.
We had a web TV before that.
Yeah, but web TV doesn't count because I'm talking, this is the first PC that we could whack off at. I'm not going to whack off in my parents' bedroom. That's where the web TV was.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, being like going into puberty, a grown man isn't going to whack off in a sunroom where his neighbors can see him.
At night with the lights on in there, you're just you're in a fucking fishbowl.
In an aquarium. A masturbatory aquarium. But goddamn,
all our neighbors were just like, well, it's 8 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock and our neighbors sucking watching over their kids. Just shut all the blinds on this side of the house. I'm tired of watching that kid
whack off.
Fucking beat his meat. With his little Vienna sausage, you know,
the DSL connection. That was before streaming video, so like you would pull up a picture of titties and you would have to wait for it to load down.
I remember the graphics card went out, and so everything had an orange tint to it. but Dad had already left the house, so me being man of the house, I'm like, well, guess we're beating off the orange tits,
orange titties, man, from here on out.
So. You're older than my fiance,
yeah.
And we were talking about the good old days, right? And at sleepovers watching scramble porn.
I think I've talked about this before. Yeah, the cable box.
Yeah,
yeah. Like you would go up to the nudie channel.
You get like Playboy TV, and for like 4 seconds you would get some purple tits.
Yeah, a tit would go like up across.
Yeah.
And so I used to, you would sit there and fantasize, like, is that what women's breasts look like? Like a modern art, like a titty goes up.
And it had like elevator music.
Yeah.
So, she's pretty much always been digital age. She had no idea what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Right. And so I had to Google it, and there's a whole subsect of porn of like scramble porn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's almost like a fetish or like a.
Do you remember playing with the cable at the back of the box to try to improve the picture signal on the titty?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember beating my meat and holding the ear.
Dude, and that was back when like the TV was like a TV now it's a television.
I remember my pubes standing on end because I'm holding the ears, but I'm too close to the TV, and so I'm getting the static.
Amateur, right? Real guys that whack off in front of their tube TV de-goss the motherfucker first. I used to give that bitch a good de-goss, like, and the picture would go. No, remember when TVs used to be like a piece of furniture? It had wood paneling and everything on it. Yeah.
I remember watching Joe Dirt and Joe Dirt's like biological parents. There's the scene where like he's in their house, and I remember watching it with Mom, and they had the same TV as the TV we were watching, and I paused it, and I'm like, we gotta get a new TV. Like they're using it as a prop for white trash in this movie, and we have this TV.
Yeah.
Like, and Mom's like, all right, we're getting a TV.
Yeah, these people are caricatures of redneck white trash, and we own the things that they own.
This big ass cabinet TV.
You think there's anybody watching like The Water Boy and eating a fucking alligator on a stick?
Like, wait a second.
Wait, they're making fun of that. Oh shit! No, what I was gonna say was like I remember one of the things that pissed me off the most growing up was I realized that
it was a tough time living for you. You're sitting there and you're like, I am ready to shine, and this place is hell. Like,
I remember the PC, right? I couldn't have anything like on it that was mine because it was the family PC. I've always been very privacy oriented.
Yeah.
And so then I realized, well, the people that own the thing, once you have the money, you control whatever you buy. So you remember the newest PC in the house and the only privately owned PC in that communist hellscape of a house that we grew up in was the one that I bought with my own goddamn money. Paid for that thing with fucking quarters and shit, straight from Dell.com. And I remember I got it, and Mom's like, where are you going to put it? I'm like, I'm going to put it in my fucking bedroom. She's like, you can't have a PC in your bedroom. I'm like, Mom, you told me ever since I started getting allowance that whatever I buy with my own money, I can do whatever I want with it. Like, that was her thing. She was like, no, turn it off. I'm like, why? It's mine. She's like, no, I bought it. And I'm like, well, listen here. I bought this fucking PC. Yeah. I could buy it and hit it with a hammer and just break it right now in front of you. It's mine. I can do what I want with it. So she relented, let me put it in my room, right? And so I finally had my own PC. And then I remember you. I think at some point the other PC was broken, and so mine was like the only one in the house. And
hey, I need to use
it, dude. My MySpace. And I need to update. I need to let everybody know that Linkin Park's Hybrid Theory was the hottest fucking album this year. And I was like, no, it's mine. And Mom's like, Sam. Let your brother use your PC. And I was like, dude, those of you that have PCs now and are teenagers know exactly what was racing through my mind. Like, whenever like Abby gets on my computer, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm like, dude, I can do it faster. Like, what do you want to look at? Like, don't fucking touch the address bar. Do not touch it. What do you want to look at? And that's like, you would get on there and I'm just sitting there like sweating bullets. Like, what the fuck?
What weird Japanese porn is about to pop up on that screen? Yeah.
What's funny is like back then it was so normal. It was like, because you know
what, porn?
Well, you know how porn goes. You start watching it, and
first, you had like Tub Girl.
At first, it was like, well, that's what I'm saying. Normal stuff in the beginning. No, but in the beginning, it's always like you start off with just like naked women.
Yeah.
And then this is the progression of it for you youngsters out there. You start off with just naked women. At first, the opposite sex does it for you.
Yeah.
And then you want to see that person dominated into the dirt. And then it gets progressively worse and more depraved as it goes on. And then you're into people with genitals that shouldn't belong to them. And you get into weird.
Listen, I got nothing against Miss Vex, but you're starting to lose me on this conversation. All right, yeah.
It's such a funny topic because everybody's it's like so heated. The debate is on it. I've never understood like the hatred. Like, people will get fucking visibly upset about it. And you know, my audience is like, there's a lot of right wingers on my audience.
Really?
Heavy, like, right nationalist wing to my audience. Which is funny because I'm pretty liberal.
You people suck.
Exactly, but more liberal than I am. But they'll get like really upset about the chicks with dicks, you know?
Yeah.
I never understood the hate. It's just a woman with genital I understand.
Yeah.
I know exactly where the clit is on that thing. It's on the end. No. You can see the timeline of the progression of things becoming derogatory slurs. And I'm talking a lot of them starting like 2013 and then 2014, 2015. Like, there's a lot of words that you think are okay for those people that you will get.
Suddenly we become our grandparents. We're like,
really quick.
Hey, Sambo.
Yeah, really quick. Dude, I used to get called Sambo as a kid, and I signed a paper in like middle school as Sambo, and I got fucking like written up for it and shit because it's a derogatory slur. I'm like, my name's Sam. That's what they call me. And apparently there was this book.
Why, you little pickaninny?
There's like this book in the 1890s or something called Little Black Boy Sambo. I didn't even fucking know existed.
Shit, not even then. I mean, like 1940s or 50s, you go to Florida, you get a little postcard of a little gator, like with a black kid in its mouth. You know?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I got a question. What do you think racism will be dead? I've given this a lot of thought.
Nationally or worldwide?
Nationally.
150 years.
150?
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah.
I was thinking about this. Like, people are very concerned about. Well, I think there has been a recent uprising in in the amount of racist shit that's happening. But I was thinking, like, a lot of time's passed, but not a lot of life has passed because our parents.
Well, that's where we're doing our part because we're having kids at a very young age.
You're fucking old as shit. Biblically, you would be on your deathbed right about now.
I'm an outlier.
But
most of my friends have like 8-10-year-olds.
Really?
Yeah.
God damn.
I have a month old.
I was thinking about this. The like the people that raised us, our mom remembers desegregation.
Yeah.
She remembers the whole white and black water fountain thing.
Yeah.
And so
we have an aunt that like never talked to a black person until after high school.
Yeah. And so we're raised by these people that grew up, they went through a lot of their childhood like that.
Yeah.
And then it's not like as soon as they made the one water fountain, everybody's like, all right,
hey buddy, you go on ahead. Like,
yeah. And we're in the deep South. So let's be out the Baptist belt,
Yeah.
They're not exactly the nicest to colored folk around here.
Right.
And then so we were raised by them. And so of course some of that's going to be left on us. I mean, you went around in high school. There was a time
I was a pretty racist piece of shit.
Yeah, and he had the rebel flag thing. That was before people thought that was bad.
Yeah,
and
I talked about that a good bit because, like, there's a lot of shit that we did in high school that shit would not fly.
Nah.
Yeah, we'd bring guns to school because we'd all go like skeet shooting after school.
Yeah,
and rebel flag T-shirts.
Yeah. You know what's funny is they always get mad about
nobody in my graduating class is going to be running for public office. Right. No.
Well, everybody gets mad about like they're like the rebel flag is part of our heritage, and I'm like, I never see anybody touting the rebel flag, talking about, and they're always like, it's not about the slavery or the racism. They're like, it's about the heritage. I'm like, I never hear them talking about like the politics of the Confederacy. Like, God damn it, I want more state power. I hate this centralized federalist government. Yeah. It's never about that.
Right.
It's about the racism.
Yeah.
Yeah. But another thing is
just sitting on your porch. Those wholesome values of sitting on your porch watching
other people,
300 black people pick your cotton.
I heard someone's argument for slavery. They were like, we never hated you guys. We just hated picking cotton. I was like, that is oddly true in a way.
Yeah.
Like, white people were out there picking this shit. Like, there has to be a better way. Yeah. It sucks when you're like, dude, I'm willing to go to the farthest reaches of what I think the world is.
Right.
And ship people from there. Think about the logistics of that. Back in the day, that was before planes and shit. They were like, dude, fucking sail off as far as you can see across
in 2 weeks
across the known world.
If you get over there, because we don't have a weather system, so there might be a hurricane in the middle of that.
Hope you don't run out of water on the way or get scurvy or get capsized in the Bermuda Triangle.
Right.
If you do make it, please capture some people. I don't care who they are. And bring them back over here because this plant sucks. This shit sucks. But goddamn, I need my Hanes T-shirt. Anyways, you're talking about public office. I was, that Justin Trudeau with his blackface. Have you seen that? What's funny is everybody's getting mad about like that Virginia governor doing his blackface, and there was a bunch of other people that have gotten Kavanaugh.
What was it like? It was like North Carolina's governor.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, but the governor stepped down like immediately after getting elected.
Yeah.
Right? Stepped down and the lieutenant governor took over. And like 3 days after swearing in for that, then it's like, hey, you remember all these blackface pictures you took? So then it's like, oh man, like they really batted 1,000 on electing somebody. But that guy, he stood his ground. He's like, well, I'm all you got.
Well, it's funny. Stepping down. What's funny about that is all those pictures were in like the 80s, in the early 90s. And then the Kavanaugh's with like his booth thing that
Yeah.
was like on his high school yearbook. That was like in the 70s, right? 80s.
Right.
But what cracks me up about Justin Trudeau, the beacon of hope for progressive leftism.
Oh, yeah.
Those pictures were taken like 2002 on a digital camera. Way after you should have known that shit ain't right.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's like a video of him taken with like a Motorola Razor. Remember when those were popular? Dude, you weren't shit if you weren't coming to school with a fucking Motorola Razor.
I remember I had one when we worked together doing apartment maintenance.
Oh,
you
yeah?
remember that?
Yeah,
I
had one of those?
Oh, hell yeah. That was the company phone. I remember I was like, I'm hot shit. I got this, you know.
Dude, that was back when I had my Siemens phone, which cracked me up because, you know, the name of it was Siemens. But that thing was, that was back when like every company was making cell phones before they actually took skill to make. Now they're like supercomputers.
Yeah.
And so you have to have some basic, like a factory with good infrastructure in order to make a good cell phone. But back then it was like, hey, just throw some shit in there and put a SIM card in. So like every company, like Daewoo probably made a cell phone. There was like people made like microwave cell phones, whatever. They were like KitchenAid cell phone. Like everybody had a fucking cell phone. And I had the Siemens cell phone, which I don't think they make them anymore.
Yamaha should have made it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I bet
Yamaha makes everything.
They make everything. I bet you they had one. But yeah, that Justin Trudeau, he had like pictures of it, and he hasn't stepped down or anything. He's just like, oh yeah, I fucked up.
He's in an election year. He's just holding on for everything he can.
He's hoping.
Yeah.
He should probably try to turn it into something positive. It's like
I included all of you.
I felt like I wanted to be him.
Right.
Feel uncomfortable in the skin I'm in. I mean, you should be able to relate.
Do you remember the NAACP?
The lady that
that turns out like, yo man, you're white as apple pie. Like,
dude, I follow all these like black nationalists on Twitter.
Right.
I love it, dude, because you would think black people would band together and make as much of a community effort as possible to for change. But then there's these black nationalists I follow on Twitter that do nothing but hate other black people with a seething passion. At first, I really liked following the Black Hebrews because they're like black Israelites that are in Harlem that hate. They're Jewish, but they hate other Jewish people.
Yeah,
and they're
I remember Dad was not a fan of those guys.
Oh my god, I thought they were fucking hilarious. Because I've never seen they're on the sidewalk in New York City and they bring this guy to tears in less than 20 seconds.
Yeah,
and I don't care what political affiliation you are, what religion you are, you have to admire the grind. If you have perfected your craft to the point where you can reduce someone to tears in 30 seconds, just by meeting them, they didn't know him before. It'd be different if they had like raped his mom and then they met him again. This is the first time these people had
that
ever
guy
met.
had no emotional connection to him.
And they reduced him to tears.
No expectations.
That is some craft, dude. That's assholery to another level. So these black nationalists, they're black people that hate other black people that aren't descendants of slaves. And so they're fighting for reparations, right?
Yeah. But they don't want the other black people on the bandwagon.
If you're from Nigeria and just came over recently,
the
fuck out of here. You're not an African descendant of slaves. And so I follow that's what it's called, ADOS, African descendant of slaves. So I follow them on Twitter. Dude, these people, they fucking eat each other alive. I have never seen such like I thought white people were mean to each other.
No.
Or white people were mean to other races. You haven't seen shit until you've seen black nationalists tear apart another black person.
I'm out of my comfort zone here. Oh, yeah, man. You do this shit every day, but like me, it's like...
Well, I don't think I've said anything bad, have I?
I was going to promote this video, but now I'm just going to let it go under the radar.
I haven't said anything bad, have I?
No.
No?
No.
I can talk about black nationalists. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, to be honest, I don't care your political affiliation, but if you're going to get to the point where you're out there like with a picket sign, you're a fucking douchebag. I don't care what side of the spectrum you're on. Yeah, I don't do that. If you're at that point where you're like, fucking whatever. All right, there's a difference between...
No, I won't spend my time is precious. Yeah. So...
it's different if you're doing like please don't build the pipeline through our neighborhood. That I can understand. Yeah. Like if it's against like corporate interests, but I'm not going to sit there and like, I don't know.
I have a friend that went to Standing Rock.
What's Standing? Oh, is that out there in...
Yeah, the pipeline deal?
The one in Hawaii?
No. The one up in Montana?
Oh.
Or Wyoming? Maybe?
You ever seen that documentary, The Bros of Fracking?
No.
It's like these dudes that they go to college. It's one of them Vice documentaries.
Yeah.
I think around the time that Vice went to shit. Coincidentally,
everybody says that Vice has gone to shit.
Yeah.
Nobody likes Vice anymore.
Coincidentally, around the time that crazy white supremacist Gavin McInnes left, apparently he was the glue that held the whole thing together. It takes a special level of insanity.
See, I like Shane Smith.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I think what makes a good news thing, like alternative news thing like that, is differing opinions. And you can tell since Gavin McInnes is fucking insane and like kind of right wing, everybody else there was not, and so it's like this.
Yeah. There was some balance.
That's good.
Rationality.
Yeah. I was watching this one. It's like The Bros of Fracking. It's this guy that went to college for like some geology degree, and he's like, "Oh, I could study rocks and the conservation of our habitat." Or I could
make some money.
Dude, he just goes to like this little mobile home in the middle of fucking nowhere up in Nebraska or like South Dakota or something. And he just sits there at a computer and he goes, drill here. And then they pay him, he makes like $450,000 a year.
Yeah.
And he gets, I think it's like 2 weeks on, 1 week off. And they're like, so what do you do for your week off? He's like, I get my paycheck, and then I charter a flight down to Las Vegas with my coworkers, and we spend a week at Caesar's Palace, getting hookers, gambling my paycheck away. And then when I run out of money, I
wipe the coke off my nose, and I go back to work.
I go back to Nebraska with enough for the $1 menu at McDonald's. And I get back to telling him where to drill. And he's like, I don't think you guys understand. My job has nothing to do with success rate. They can drill 100 times and not hit oil. But
it's just odds.
But I tell him every once in a while I hit it big.
So that guy gambles 1 week on and gambles 2 weeks off.
Yeah. Because like we had didn't we have a family member that worked in a pharmaceutical company where his team worked for like 20 years on this medication, and they got it to trial and everything. And like, this is his life's work, his career's work. And then right when it was about to go into production, another company basically came out with something a little bit better. So they just scrapped it. And like we're talking about like his salary. Like this guy has like a big ass house, a lot of fucking money. And he's been doing this for like 20 years. Think about and then he has a team. This guy's in charge of a team.
Yeah.
And
he failed them.
No, think about the amount of money they've just dumped on this guy. And they're like, hey, he'll make us the next ibuprofen. Yeah, or Tylenol or some shit. And then right when it's about to go into production, they're like, man, scrap it. Like, that's really, not only is that sucks for him and his whole career, because he could be like, I made Tylenol 2 or whatever, the sequel.
Yeah.
Which they should really make a sequel to Sex. Sex 2 sounds like it has a lot of potential. But think about, like, that really puts into perspective the amount of fucking money a pharmaceutical company has.
Yeah.
Where they can just float this guy and his team for like an entire career and go, it's not worth it. Scrap that shit. But we don't have a healthcare problem in America. Everybody points fingers. They're like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Doctors get paid a ridiculous amount of money. Well, they kind of deserve it because the work that they do.
Yeah.
And then people are like, it's the insurance companies. We need a socialized insurance thing. And, insurance is ridiculous, but insurance wouldn't be so ridiculous if pharmaceutical companies weren't charging $1,500 for an EpiPen.
I don't even want to talk about insurance.
Oh, yeah, you're getting the long dick of the insurance cock.
For the first time in 15 years, I'm insured. and I feel like a stray dog. Like I've been going like every Monday.
Yeah.
I'm getting injected or something sucked out of me. Like,
have you gotten your vaccinations?
I got like the Tdap stuff.
You gotta turn out autistic, dude.
It's been a good run.
It's been a good run.
But I also realized
join the club.
I also realized our mom kind of ran us feral.
We're free range kids, cage free kids.
Because yeah, they were like, when was the last time you went to a doctor? And like Christina was like high school or something, right? And I'm like, no, because in Florida, you can be on your parents' insurance until you're 26.
Yeah.
But I haven't been to a doctor since probably like freshman year of high school.
Yeah.
Like I was like 14 or 15. And I work like a blue collar job. I have not had a tetanus shot since I was like 14.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's killing me.
Last time I got tetanus shot was this thing. When I got wrapped up.
Oh yeah, the barbed wire thing.
Yeah, I got wrapped up in barbed wire, and they were like, "When was the last time you had a tetanus shot?"
Yeah,
I was like, "I don't remember the last time I saw a fucking white lab coat."
Well, yeah. So when I got in my car wreck,
yeah,
I refused all vaccinations that they tried to give me because I was so free. I'm not an anti-vaxxer.
Yeah,
but at the time, I was like in a very vulnerable. I'm sitting there like morphined up, and all of a sudden, and Mom was like, "Give them everything you can." And I'm like, and I don't trust her for shit, know. And I'm like, "No, you ain't doing nothing." Like, So, yeah, I've been catching up.
For perspective, by the way, it's kind of funny now in retrospect. I mean, I'm sure it's not funny to you, but he got into a crippling accident.
Oh, no, I think it's hilarious.
He got into like a crippling accident, right? And
first off, hang on. I ride motorcycles. I've had 13 motorcycle accidents, 60 mile an hour and faster. I've lost count of all the ones 60 mile an hour and slower.
Yeah.
Okay. My fastest wreck was 138 mile an hour. I've never broken a bone. It was raining and I didn't feel like riding my bike to work. So I called one of my coworkers and told him to give me a ride in. And I broke 38 bones 56 times, punctured my lung, collapsed it, and blew out the side of my head.
But what was funny about this was I went to the hospital and he didn't look that bad. He just had this cut on the top of his head that they like stitched up. And besides that, he was like, he was all fucked up though. Like, and they were like, "What's wrong with him?" And like the doctor's just like a squire, like in the town square, and like medieval times, he like looks up and down. He's like, "Yeah, this, where his head is and where his feet are. Everything in between is just fucked up." And what it was is like he had broken everything, but none of it, like his arms were fine, his legs were fine.
It was everything in my core.
It was everything that you couldn't put a cast on, right? And because of his collapsed lung, they couldn't do the body cast. So they were just like, lay in the bed on a morphine drip for a month. We'll see you in a month. And it was like, I don't know if you've ever seen that fucking Friday the 13th movie where like Jason picks up the camper in the sleeping bag and just whacks him against the tree like a sack of taters, and it makes like this thud noise. Like that's what it looked like happened to you because you were just laying in bed like, fuck. And like our grandpa came in and was like, "Hey, let me hug you," and you're just like, you couldn't even talk. You're just like, get away from me, get away from me, get. And he can't hear.
He was so handsy. That man would just like squeeze you and all.
And he can't fucking hear, so he just sees his lips moving, and he's just like, "Oh, he wants a hug." But yeah, that shit was funny to me. You just laid up.
You know what? If I could do it again, I would. Because at the time I was smoking like 2 packs a day.
Yeah. It got you off cigarettes?
Yeah. I haven't touched a cigarette since.
Yeah. And what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right?
Yeah.
Or to steal a Norm Macdonald joke, in my experience, what doesn't kill you leaves you very, very weak and almost dead.
Yeah.
which was you. You were
I'm a changed man, dude.
He was just laying in the fucking living room on like this recliner thing forever, just healing up. And like it was the only time that Abby's ever shown any warmness.
That's what I was about to say. That was the first chink in the armor. Because before that,
dude, no racial slurs on my podcast, please.
Me and Abby would not we didn't get along.
Yeah.
And even then, I'm sitting there, I'm full of Percocet. Right? So I'm just a thing at Jello. Yeah. Right. But every morning, Abby would make me some cheese grits with some Bradley sausage. And she'd cut it up and put it in there. And she'd come over and be like, here. Yeah.
and scratch it.
And I'd be sitting there, I'm like, thank you.
I'm surprised she wouldn't just dump it on the floor and just go eat it off the floor like the fucking animal you are.
Have you ever told them about when you and Abby got into a fight and she made your lunch?
All right, so when me and Abby started, when I started going out and working my hot air balloon repairman job, right? I would leave the house and she would make my lunch every day, and she would put it in this little sectioned Tupperware container with a pre-peeled orange, segmented. I would have a little sandwich cut corner to corner,
note,
a little side, and then she would put it inside a lunchbox with an ice pack and an extra frozen Gatorade that would melt through the day. So it would be nice and slush by the time I would go to eat it, because it was very hot in those hot air balloons.
Yeah.
They're full of hot air. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Searing air.
Yeah.
And so I would love it, man. I would sit there and eat it, and it was a family business. So my uncle would sit there and look at it, and he's like, "God damn, dude, she even peels your fucking oranges,
you little pussy,
you little pussy." And I was so happy. And and this was when we were first married, and that happened for the first year, and then the second year, it would break down. It would be a little bit less love and effort put into it. It wouldn't be cut from corner to corner anymore, which makes it taste better.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And then the beautiful sandwiches with sliced tomato and salt and pepper on them and everything turned into PB&Js, you know? And, but the final straw was I pissed her off one morning and got into a fight, and she
still made your lunch.
She still made my lunch.
So but you angrily grab your bag and walk out the door.
And then when I went to go eat my lunch, I unzipped it and I opened it, and there was no ice pack, no Gatorade, nothing. It was just, she had made a PB&J and then just put it in a Ziploc bag and taken the Ziploc bag and just went. It was you could see, she didn't ball it up with two hands. She just did one big, because you could see her fingerprints. She fucking manhandled this thing and just went into the fucking lunchbox and zipped it up. And I opened it up, and my uncle saw it and was like, "Oh!" He thought that was the funniest shit he had ever seen.
Oh my god!
He was like, "God damn, you have a rough morning."
He called me and told me about it.
Did he ever tell you when he fucking?
He's like, the honeymoon's over.
Yeah, the honeymoon's over, dude. He fucked up. Did he ever tell you about when he ran into me while I was parked? I was parked on the side of the road, waiting to do a hot air balloon inspection. And I'm sitting there on the phone with UPS trying to get my new fucking camera in the mail. And UPS was like, "It's at the distribution center and we couldn't find your house or something." And
well, what do you mean you can't find my own?
And I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden he comes around the corner and he's looking at me. We're making eye contact, and he just calmly sideswipes me and starts dragging me down the road. His car latched onto mine like Velcro, and he started dragging me down the road. And then he stops, backs up, and just drives away. And I'm on the phone with the lady. I'm like, "Hold on a second. My uncle's dragging me down the road." And she's like, "What?" And then when I got out of the car, he was just like, "Dude, what were you doing?" I'm like, "I was in park. I wasn't even moving. My car was off. Keys were in my pocket." He thought I had ran into him. He's like, "Are you serious? I just ran into you?" I'm like, he was upset. He was mad at me about that. It was my fault. That was the beginning of.
Did you get those pictures? By the way, a couple weeks ago, the hot air balloon that crash landed.
Yeah. Dude, as soon as I stopped doing hot air balloon repairs.
That's the first thing, I was at work. I go outside to help a customer.
Yeah.
And another customer was driving away. That's a buddy of mine. Mm-hmm. And my coworkers were outside, and they're like, he's got a leak. And I'm like, what? And I'm thinking they're talking about his truck or something. And I was like, why didn't you tell him? They're like, no. And they point, and I look. And, dude, it took up the whole sky. It's just this huge hot air balloon coming right at us. I'm like, holy fuck, man.
And it just crash landed, or?
Yeah, it crash landed. Yeah, like probably 200 yards from my shop.
Damn. And it's like things go to shit the second I stop doing those inspections. You know,
that was the first thing I thought. I was like, this place is going to shit without seeing it.
Quality control has gone downhill. You know, and I would have caught that leak. I would have caught that because there's really only 3 components to a hot air balloon.
What cracked me up was like immediately we went running down there to like go see the carnage. Right? Yeah. And we
to save the guy, but to see the damage.
We run up, and the basket's on its side in the middle of a parking lot, right? So like they hit and fell over, and the guy does it as a business, right? And so he's got his customers there, and he's just like grabbing the balloon, right?
Yeah,
and he's like trying to explain it away. He's like, yeah, this happens sometimes, and they're sitting there like dusting the asphalt off of them. They're like, what the fuck, It's 8:30 in the morning. Jeez.
And if I remember correctly, that was like a windy day. That was not a calm day. And I remember you were like, yeah, it like crashed right outside, and I was like, dude, it's like I was out there,
and I work on a busy 6-lane highway.
Yeah, I was like it was windy as shit. I was out there earlier, and it was that's not a good time to be. I might have inspected them and repaired them, but I feel like that's the dumbest goddamn mode of transportation I've ever seen. You know who thought that was a good idea? Those fucking inventors in like the late 1800s.
Yeah.
Before the invention.
It was a great idea. I mean,
at the time.
Yeah, jet stream this way, altitude this way.
Yeah.
So,
But now
let's
there's
go
airplanes.
west. Got to go up to go west.
Now there's airplanes.
Yeah,
and helicopters.
There's cars. People still like to ride bicycles.
Yeah. But a bicycle, when the wind blows, you don't get blown into a fucking tree and power lines. Hot air balloons would be cool if Tesla had his way and did the underground electricity. Actually, Edison started those, the underground electricity lines.
Yeah.
But once they started going the cheap route with the lines up in the air, ready to fall down on, which by the way, that was a bad idea in Florida, dude. Every time there's a hurricane, how many people
That's what screwed us up with Irma. It was only like, a category 2 or something?
Yeah.
But yeah, Tallahassee was out of power for like 7 days. Our mom was out of power for 14 days.
Dude, I feel
and she lives in the middle of town.
I feel like we could withstand a good hurricane now because all the pussy trees have been knocked over.
Yeah, that's what I keep.
Although
what I tell people. Like,
it was a culling.
We had that tropical storm, and one of my coworkers lives down in Wakulla.
Yeah.
And he was like, I might not be coming into work on Saturday because, the storm. I'm like, nah, you coming into work, buddy. Like, And he's like, well, I always get screwed when a storm comes. Oh, that's your own damn fault.
Like, to chill at their house when there's no power or anything.
Especially in a wobbly box.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tornado areas, I would not live in. Hurricane areas, no problem.
Well, you see them coming from a mile away. A tornado can like drop down.
Yeah.
And hit you.
Yeah.
And then be gone.
Yeah.
Sometimes they hit and they're like, the only reason they know that there's a tornado is because there's a fucking guy wrapped around a tree. They're like, well, unless there's a very strong gorilla or something on the loose, I bet you this was a tornado. But like hurricanes, like you see that shit coming, and they're like another goddamn retribution for slavery. Another goddamn hurricane's coming off the coast of Africa, coming to wipe out the South. Didn't we have a family member that bought a bunch of swampland when they were building Disney World?
Yeah, he kind of saw what was happening.
He saw there was some mystery company that was like a proxy
many mystery companies, because it was a bunch of shell companies that bought it to not raise attention.
Yeah, and they were, because I don't know if you guys know this, but Disney World isn't built on like, it's not like when they made Central Park, they were like, hey, greatest city in the world, let's make a nice, beautiful park. With like Disney World, they were like, let's find the biggest shithole in America.
The cheapest land we can.
And turn it into something cool.
Yeah.
And so they went to Orlando, which was a fucking swamp.
Yeah, it was just cow pasture.
And a lot of it was swamp too. It was like a bog. And they sat there and brought in dirt, and they started buying up all this land and bringing in dirt. And they saw that there's a lot of land being bought up by these weird proxy companies.
Yeah, 5 acres here, 100 acres there, Yeah. So he started buying like the edge, the fringe.
Yeah.
So they built up, but now whenever, expansion happens, they got to buy from him.
Yeah. Or like when they need to make like Epcot or something like that.
On the other side of that coin, a girl I dated, her grandfather was one of the big real estate purchasers for Walt Disney. Like, he was part of that. Like, she has pictures of Walt Disney on her grandfather's little Carolina skiff boat going around there, like surveying the area, But it's funny, like downtown Orlando, like modern day.
Yeah.
The picture is like they're in a 22-foot long boat. Like, it's like alligators and everything. They're like, yeah, we'll build a shopping center right here, Yeah.
What's funny is looking at Epcot, which is supposed to be like the land of tomorrow, right?
Yeah, it's dated as fuck.
Well, it's cool because at the time when it was built, it was the land of tomorrow. But now, and then there was a time where it was really lame. But now I feel like it's cool because you go there and it's almost like a portal back.
Yeah, it's like that
retro
that Hanna-Barbera cartoons where it'd be like the day of tomorrow, and they'd show like like the Popular Mechanics magazines. It'd be like they show like people driving like the Airstream bus, and
double decker with a fucking nuclear turbine on the back. We're gonna take a nuclear reactor and make it small.
Yeah, I saw one where it was just that. It was like an Airstream, but like the size of a semi truck.
Yeah,
and it was a double decker, and the wife was driving at the top. Right, it was like B-52. Like she had like
the dad's down in an Eames lounge chair reading the fucking paper in the bottom.
No, they showed at the right underneath the cockpit. Right, he had a wood shop with these panoramic windows. Yeah, and he's sitting there like building a rocking chair. And they're just barreling down like I-4.
Yeah,
and they're like, yep, the modern family, vacation, thing. And it's like,
dude, that's what I want to do on my vacations is fucking household chores. Honey, go build me a rocking chair.
And have my wife drive a fucking big rig.
Yeah. What's funny is me and Abby were getting a bed, and we didn't have like a truck with like a trailer. So we borrowed her stepdad's, and we went to go get the bed. And, it's her stepdad, so I let her drive. And then she was trying to back it up, and she ended up fishtailing the fucking trailer. And
jackknifing?
Yeah, that's what it is. Jackknife. She jackknifed it. You can tell I know what I'm talking about. So here's the second.
Can you back up a trailer?
Well, this is the second part of the story. I was like, you fucking dumb bitch. Women drivers. Yeah. I was like, get out of there. So I got behind the wheel. Fucking did it even worse. Broke his tail light on his. Because I don't know what I'm doing, right? All I know is like, hey, you're supposed to turn it the opposite way you want it to go, and then it does. Well, that didn't work for me. Man, I fucked that thing up. And then the people at the furniture store are like, they were out there on the loading dock with the bed waiting for me.
I bet you they watch that every day. They're like,
they're just sitting there.
Crunch.
And they're like 10 feet away from where the trailer is, and they're just waiting for me. And I'm sitting there just going like, meh, 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 meh. And this fucking trailer is just going left, right. And I was like, dude, does anybody here know how to back this fucking thing up?
I feel it's a skill you should have.
Well, it's a skill you should have if you've...
Can you drive a stick shift?
Yeah, that's why my first 2 cars were stick shifts.
You had 3 cars before you were 15.
Okay, well, the first 2 cars that I drove were stick shifts.
Okay.
Yeah. You don't remember
You're such a shyster.
You remember my
you were sitting there flipping cars, and you were in fucking middle school.
Remember my Honda.
Sam used to do large volume loans to my friends with insanely high interest rates.
Yeah,
but because he was the biggest badass, nobody would fuck with him.
Well, I had mom like there as witness too, and like
yeah, but you'd also threaten them with their lives, you know.
Remember my
I remember Ryan didn't pay you, and he showed up drunk at the house.
Oh, you got my money?
Yeah, you came out, you're like, where's my money? And he was like, you know, I ain't got it. And you were like, I need my money. And so he was like, he like whipped out the money that he owed,
that he had borrowed,
but not the interest.
Yeah.
And then I remember you were like, get in the car, and y'all left for like 20 minutes, and you came back,
went to an ATM, bro.
Yeah, and you went back counting your money, and he was like, your brother's a hard ass.
No, I'm not just gonna like go have like $60 go missing for 2 weeks out of the kindness of my fucking heart. I don't know that guy. Wait, is that Ryan? Is it Ryan? Didn't he end up doing like tow truck stuff? Yeah. Okay. I got.
He's a UPS driver. Hang on. So he told me what UPS drivers make,
because they make good money.
All right. After 4 years, they top out at $40 an hour.
Damn.
They work 60 hours a week, time and a half after 8. To the math, it's like $145,000 a year,
and they have damn good retirement.
Yeah.
But I have a funny story about Ryan.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know you've heard this before, but this was when like my YouTube was still like a fledgling.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
It was like a little fledgling business, right? I was making like a $1, right? I was hoping
I remember your first YouTube check was like $203, and you were like, I got my first check, and me and mom laughed, and we were like, when's he gonna get a real job?
Yeah. Well, once you hit $100, they send you a check. You have no idea how many months, and actually, I think it was like over a year. I was slaving away on shit to get up the ad revenue where they would send me a check for $100.
Right.
So that took a while. So I was still slaving away pretty hard trying to just get by, and but it was middle of the fucking day, and I was in my pajamas, living that hard YouTube life, and we ended up having some car towed. I forget from where, next door neighbors or something like that. But this tow truck.
No, the people that lived at that house before us were had a car out for repo.
That's what it was. Yeah. So he was parked out front. I come out there. I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, those four, I forget the person's name, live here. And I was like, no. and I'm like, wait, aren't you my brother's friend? And he's like, yeah, oh, you're Sam. Yeah, how you doing? And I was like, I'm doing pretty good. It's middle of the fucking afternoon. I have a goddamn bathrobe on, right? And I'm like, I'm doing pretty good. And he looks at me in my bathrobe.
He looks at the house.
He's looking like out his fucking. This is how he's looking at me. He's looking out his window of his tow truck. He looks at me in my bathroom, fresh faced, it's middle of the fucking day. I'm sitting there drinking like coffee, and then he looks up at the house, and at the time it was like pretty much brand new.
Yeah.
And but we were renting it, and I wasn't renting it. I was living with my mom, right? I was living with my mom in the upstairs thing with Abby, and Abby's like fucking embarrassed by it because she's living with her boyfriend's mom. And but she's not there, and he just looks up at the house, and he looks at me, and he goes, "You're doing pretty all right for yourself, aren't you?" And I'm sitting there thinking like, "Hey, I had Chick-fil-A today, chilling in my bathrobe, got playing fucking Skyrim upstairs." I just go, I am doing pretty good for myself. And then like after he left, I realized what he meant, and I was like, oh, he thought this place was mine.
Yeah.
I ain't got no fucking money.
Yeah.
You out of your mind? And I realized
I explained that to him years later, and he died laughing. Yeah, he was like, oh man, he's like, I thought he lived there. I was like, nah, Sam wouldn't live there these days.
What's funny about it is I realized that getting older, this is a Linus Tech tip for you guys out there, is that you don't need to have money in order to have a house and a car and everything. You just need to have credit. That's all you need. The bank will give you whatever the fuck you want if you have credit.
Yeah, I'm just now learning that.
Yeah.
I was cash only.
I know that Jay-Z
I was a dirty
song.
ghetto kid for years.
That Jay-Z song was meant to be for black people to educate them about financial independence, but it taught me some things.
Did it?
Yes. And he says, I think the lyric is, you want to know why rich Jewish people own everything in the world? Credit. That's what he says. That's the lyric. And that's about the truest fucking thing in the world. Credit is a beautiful, don't fuck it up though. And by don't fuck it up, I mean, don't have a joint account with your wife. That's how you fuck it up. That's the Linus Tech tip for today.
Yeah.
Do you remember Miami Subs?
Yeah, I remember Miami Subs. There's one in Jacksonville, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you hear about like the
owners? Yeah, one wanted to like make original stuff, and the other one just wanted to license everything out.
Yeah,
and so like one murdered the other or some shit.
Yeah, if you guys don't know what Miami Subs is, it was like a restaurant. It would be so fucking popping now, because at the time it was kind of lame. But
I remember. I thought it was the fanciest shit in the world because they used white cheddar on their burgers,
and like.
Their bread was so good.
Going into that place now, it would be like a vaporwave paradise. Like every vaporwave album art, that's what it looks like. You would go in there, it had an aquarium in the middle, and then white
it's
tile.
All I thought of when I watched the newest season of Stranger Things, where it's at the mall.
Yeah, Starcourt.
It's vaporwave as fuck. I was like, man, I miss Miami Subs.
And they used to give you these big plastic cups that had like, it was a Miami
Subs. It was like
Subs,
pink with like
palm
green
tree.
neon. Yeah.
And it had a big palm tree, and the fucking sign was a neon sign with a palm tree. I remember that. And that place was popping, dude. They had great like Caesar salads and shit. That was before you could get like a good Caesar salad from anywhere, because that was when restaurants were starting to incorporate that shit.
I remember their bacon cheeseburgers, and I was just like, and it was good.
Yeah, it was good. But the brothers, these two brothers owned the place, and one of them, their philosophy was, we're doing pretty good. We should stay the course and keep doing our original delicious meals.
Yeah. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
And then the other brother's opinion was, Oscar Mayer makes a damn good corn dog. We should have that on our menu. I don't know. He wanted to like license out like frozen food.
Yeah.
Shit.
He wanted to cash out.
Yeah, he wanted to cash out, make like big bucks. So, because sometimes you go into a place called Miami Subs and go, I want a goddamn corn dog. I don't know what kind of shit he wanted to license out.
He wanted to make an Arby's with neon signs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he ended up, the one brother was like, well, I own like 51% of the shares. And I say, fuck you. We're going to stay with our delicious burgers the way we have it. And then mysteriously, that guy died. And then the place started having corn dogs or whatever. My
brother would have wanted this.
Yeah. He would have loved this.
Yeah.
Dude, a real kick in the shins. He should have called it, like, if his brother's name was like Joey, he should have called it like the Joey special, like a corn dog with a boar's head sandwich or some shit, like whatever license crap he could get. But after that, I think the brother realized that was a bad idea, because every business, like, they start closing down because nobody wanted that shit.
Yeah, they went out.
They went out of business. Yeah.
There is, let's see. Where is the closest? We ought to do a road trip.
Go to Miami Subs.
Yeah.
They better have the same decor. If they don't, I'll be pissed.
Broward County, baby.
Where the fuck's Broward County?
Down south.
Yeah. All right. You look at the menu. I'm going to go ahead and end this. Zach, thanks for having me on.
Hey, Sam, thank you.
It's going to cut to you just on your phone, like completely lost interest.
I'm over this shit. Yeah. No, this has been fun. I've been looking forward to doing this for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to say,
I just realized, by the way, that you're wearing an Appalachian Trail t-shirt as if you fucking walked the walk.
So I was going to wear my Jesus Never Warned Me About Titties shirt that has a church burning and a bare naked woman on it.
He's trying so hard to be the black sheep, but it just ain't working.
Yeah, but I went to the Palace Saloon Friday night.
Out?
No, but that place is such a hellhole bar.
Yeah.
The next morning, I haven't done laundry since then. Today's Monday. That was Friday night. It reeks of cigarettes and vomit and beer. And
well, that's why I have the pumpkin spice candle.
I didn't get drunk. I don't smoke, and I damn sure didn't puke on myself. I was just like, I can't wear those to Sam's. Like, Yeah.
I'm looking at my profile of my face, dude.
That nose is huge.
I need to. I need to get a. I look like one of those people that would be a good candidate for dentures. Like, you know, when they have their teeth missing and their face like folds in on themselves.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be one of those people where my chin and my nose almost touch.
That dried apple look.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna have that. I was looking at that. And I was looking at you. I'm like, we don't even look like fucking brothers.
Not at all,
dude. The greatest swindle of all time. What if it just turns out that this motherfucker's a hired actor? And I just went over Cliff Notes. I was like, all right, we're gonna talk about a made up family PC. We're gonna talk about a made up some guy that drives a tow truck that doesn't exist. You just play along.
And we've been doing it for years because we had the Appalachian Trail videos and the Itch the Tuckney Springs videos.
Found them on Craigslist.
Yeah.
Yeah.